Not Just Boxing are here today to announce our proud sponsors, ETS.
Yep, Eco Technology Solutions, specialise in repair of laptops, mobile phones and tablets. They help businesses and consumers in the southeast.
So if you use the discount code FIX with Not Just Boxing, you'll get 25% off with them. Their link is in the description, so go check it out. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Hello guys, welcome to the NJB Podcast number 5. And my name's Terry, I'm joined here by Ash. Ash, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Really good.
Good.
First of all, obviously, we want to cover Khan fight.
Yeah. 100%.
You was in Manchester for it.
Yes, I was in Manchester for it. What an amazing atmosphere, amazing occasion. I'm so glad I went. It was worth going up there and seeing the fight. The undercard was good. You had Natasha Jones winning her world title, which was amazing. A third attempt, well deserved. The emotions you saw afterwards as well, which was brilliant. You had the Aziz brothers boxing on there as well. Good talents. They looked good. That was a good fight as well, both of them. And obviously the main event, which is good while it lasted.
What was your thoughts on it all?
What in terms of the performance?
Just the analysis on Khan Brook, I guess.
Yeah, so I guess starting off, you can tell straight away when people are walking to the ring how they feel, how they see. You see Cal Brook walking in, and he was nervous. He looked nervous. The crowd was obviously booing him a lot, so you can tell that. And especially had to go in the ring and change the gloves as well. Yeah,
I know, the mind games straight before. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah. I remember they're saying afterwards, after watching the Cal Brook interview, they said if he didn't change his gloves, they wouldn't have paid him. Yeah, so it shows you how much dirty tactics are really going on.
But also gloves or not, got the stoppage.
Yeah, so he eventually did that, but obviously he looked nervous going into the ring, but Khan looked even more nervous. Mm-hmm. Do you remember, I don't know if you noticed, so Cal Brook had 2 songs playing in. Khan had 2 songs playing in as well. But by the time he got to the ring, the second song had started. So the way it normally works is first song finishes, then he'll come into the second, walking into a second song, as they do.
Yeah, well, they had him walking through the car park. They were filming him, like, the longest ring walk I've ever seen. He did about 2 kilometres, just like did a little lap of honour, went to McDonald's, through the drive-through, and then he finally made it for the second song.
Exactly. So he rushed into the ring instead of... So that just shows you that he was very nervous. And for whatever reason, did he feel he wasn't ready? Did he feel, that this is too much of a big challenge? I don't know. But that all plays a part. But in terms of the performance, I mean, Cal Brook looked brilliant from the first minute until the 6th round. He looked strong. He looked dominant in there. He looked like he wanted it more.
He still looked not his self though. Like, obviously, when you look at Brook in his prime, I'll go on to it later with obviously his fights coming up possibly with Ben and Eubank, but even though he looked strong and he looked good against Khan, he didn't look that great. I think he rocked Khan with a jab in the first round. It was really impressive, but he didn't look himself. His timing was there, but he was still a bit slow, a bit scrappy. I feel like if he's going against someone in their prime, up and coming, that's hungry, I think he should definitely retire in that win. He did good. It was a great performance. It was a good fight. It was exciting. But from a boxing perspective, you can tell that he's past it. And that was my view watching the fight. I thought...
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree with that. I think Khan made him look like he was a better fighter than... Do you know what I mean? Like he was in his prime. Khan was just... I don't know why Cal Brook looked too strong for him. His timing was spot on. He looked like a Cal. For me, he looked like a Cal Brook that was in his prime. But you're right. If he was to face a Chris Eubank, who they're talking about, or Conor Ben, who are much hungrier, who are in that
more sharp.
Yeah, who still need to achieve that greatness that Cal Brook has. Will that be too much for Cal Brook? And I think that will be. But I think on that performance, Amir Khan made him look good, and that's no disrespect to Amir Khan. Big fan of him. Big reason why I got involved in boxing.
And you thought he was going to win last week as well.
Yeah, I remember on the podcast before, I thought his speed, his footwork, his boxing skill. He's a silver medalist at the Olympics. Those sort of skills were seen through, but it did show that he has faded fast. And I think, as much as I want to see him fight again, I think that should be for him to call it a day. But what he's done for British boxing, for me, he's right up there. In the last 20 years, what he's done for British boxing is, is brilliant. Like, if you see the CVs that he's fought, Chris Algieri, Paulo Malignaggi, Canelo, Terence Crawford, obviously he lost to some of these as well.
But he's fought the best.
He's fought them. 2-time world champion. He's gone and took out, he became a household name in America. What British boxers have done that apart from like the heavyweights?
Yeah, and I think obviously he's retired a British legend, and both of them are British legends. And watching them, I saw an Eddie Hearn interview yesterday, and it was like, imagine if you saw them both fight in their prime.
Yeah, then you would
imagine how much better that fight would have been. Of course, obviously it was still a great fight, but in the back of my head, it was still 5 years too late. And
you said that last week as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could see it. Even when Khan caught Brook at one point, and you could see his eyes going a little bit. He looked a little bit troubled at one point, and I just feel like if you had Ben or Eubank catching him with that shot, it's lights out. So I don't know. Obviously, he's due another payday. He can easily make a few more million if he wants to take one of these fights coming forward. But if he finishes on a win and he retires with his good health. Obviously he's got whatever problems, but he's still speaking fine. His brain health looks okay. So
yeah, he's got those 2 broken eye sockets though, which is troubling. What do you reckon he should do next? Do you reckon Brook should he fight again against one of these contenders that they're talking about, or do you reckon he should retire now?
Obviously, none of us can tell him what to do. Obviously, but
based on that performance, on what you've seen,
I would love to see him retire on a win. And just be seen, the career he's had against, Golovkin and all the big fighters. I'd like to see him retire on a win. But if he can make a few million as a stepping stone for someone like Ben that's obviously come through, because he's a big star now, and obviously someone like Brook, if Ben beats him and it's a big money fight, that then puts him in line for a world title shot, really, because he's knocking on the door. Ben's sort of top 10 now, top 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think Brook should retire.
I think Brook should retire, yeah. I think I sort of agree with that. I think Brook should retire now. He's obviously got big money fights like that. Chris Eubank, I think Chris Eubank's too big. He's not going to come down to 155, 154. He's a 160.
But Brook's naturally,
But if he's facing someone like Chris Eubank, who's been fighting at 160, 168, he's been fighting even as high as that. Is he going to face someone who's that stronger, that much more aggressive?
Depends how much money there is,
Depends how much money's in the pot. It sounds like he wants to fight him, but I think, is he putting himself out there again too much to possibly get hurt? And I think with Conor Benn as well. I think Conor Benn, skill-wise, Brook for me all day, but it's that hunger, it's that youthness, it's that eagerness
and stamina. Brook was tiring. If the ref didn't stop it,
do you reckon?
With Khan, yeah,
he didn't look like he was tiring to me.
To me, I feel like he was getting a little bit more scrappy with his work. He was slowing down a bit, and you would be able to see that against someone like Conor Benn.
Yeah. See, I would say that was more Khan from what I saw. So what I was really frustrated about Khan seeing it live was you always wanted to initiate the attack, what he's known for, initiate, wait for the return and go again. But he wasn't even initiating. He's waiting for Brook to throw. And every time Brook threw, he would hurt him, or he would catch him, or do something with him.
And Khan missed so much. Like, he was throwing at the first few rounds. He was doing nice 5-punch combinations, but missed.
Do you know why that was? I don't know if you saw it, but seeing it live, he was so far out. He was trying to throw from attack. His feet were in to throw, so he's like lunging in of attacks, and obviously that's a no-no in boxing. You lunge in, you're open for other shots. And all Brook had to do was dip down and miss the punches.
That's when he landed the jab.
That's when he landed. Yeah, exactly when he was coming in. So. Yeah, Khan, it was disappointing, faded by his performance. I would like to fight. Well, actually, I would love to see him fight again, but I don't think he should. I think he should retire. Do you think this performance that he had against Brook has tarnished his legacy?
No.
You don't think so?
Well, no. You look at Khan's history. You see what he's done. Obviously, he was in his prime. 8 years ago or something, you want to say?
He's quite young, yeah.
Quite young.
He's 22.
Everyone will know him for that hand speed. Everyone will know Khan as one of the fastest punchers ever. He'll retire well, and he's been paid well, but it's time for him to hang up the gloves. He even said he's lost the love of the sport now, so...
Yeah.
And, if you don't love it, then all of a sudden the passion's not there, you're going to get hurt bad.
Yeah. I think it's tough. I think... the victory, the fight meant more to Kell Brook than it meant to Amir Khan. I think he was really he was trained so hard. He was so eager. I think they both did. But,
they both did. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think Kell Brook like you see the way he was coming across. He wanted it more.
But let's say if Kell Brook lost that fight and Khan caught him, and let's say it swung the other way, everyone will be saying, "Oh, I don't think Brook wanted it." I just think the way it turned, because Brook got that win, you saw how much it was. Like Khan wanted to win, he showed heart. He stayed in there. Yeah. I feel like if Khan had won it, people would be saying the same thing.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think it's fair. I guess they both wanted it, but just from watching Khan, he was a lot more relaxed with his approach, whereas Kell Brook in the build-up was very fired up. He didn't want to shake his hand before the fight. He was putting his head in his face. And
from an entertainment perspective, it was a great fight. It was toe to toe. It was exciting. Mate, I was sat there. I was glued to the telly.
The build-up sold it for me. Everyone was saying it's too past its prime. You were saying it's past its prime.
I was still excited, but you understand from a boxing perspective, if they were made 5 years ago, that would have been huge. That would have been a block, but that would have sold out.
Wembley.
Wembley. That would have done so many million pay-per-views if done correctly. But
hey, how did the atmosphere sound on telly? How did it feel to you?
I don't know really. It looked good. They kept saying it was good, but it's like any big boxing show. They're always like, the atmosphere's great here. Yeah. It looked good, but I don't know. I just think moving on from all this, like Natasha Jonas for me was fight of the night. I just for her to move up 3 weight classes. Yeah. And obviously she took her opponent a week in advance because obviously the dropouts or whatever. But 3 weight classes going up and she schools her. And you see the size difference. I thought it is well deserved. She's 37 years old.
She's 37?
It was her third attempt at a world title and she got it. So, hats off to her. For me, that was the biggest win. For me of the night.
It was the only title that I think was on the line. You had the world title on the line. So Natasha Jones, she's been around for ages. I still remember her from the 2012 Olympic Games against Katie Taylor.
Yep.
What atmosphere that was. Even on TV that sounded so electric. And live it must have been amazing.
Fraser Clark debut. Obviously the opponent, everyone says at the end of the day, that's what happens at the start of your career. But
Fraser Clark faced some guy who was pretty out of shape.
I think they picked him up off a bus stop at Luton.
Did they?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, they just saw someone.
The way he looked, he said he'll do. But
that guy was in an interview and he said he was trying to get tickets for the Khan Brook fight. And he said his manager or whoever it was, they were like, "We can't get you tickets, but do you want to fight Fraser Clark and you can get in?" And he was like, "All right then." So literally, I think the day before he got the call, and he's just a regular lad that's just turned up for the weigh-in and got his ticket to the fight by being on the card.
What a way! You get paid for actually watching that main event.
What a legend!
You get a good seat.
He was a cool guy as well in the interview.
Perfect. No, Fraser Clark was good. I think it was first round.
First round stoppage.
He looked good.
Can't really judge him yet.
He did the job that he was supposed to do. Overall, just looking at it, we had the Aziz brothers, you had Fraser Clark,
Bradley Ray.
Was that first round? That was a dirty knockout.
I know, and obviously, you look at his record, I think he didn't have many knockouts beforehand.
I think he was criticised by Johnny Nelson as well, saying he's not much of a knockout puncher, and then he just proved it in that fight. So that was a great knockout. Well, see, that was a good knockout to see. It was really good. So it was an okay undercard. But would you think for a Sky box office pay-per-view, the undercard was suitable?
I'm more excited for this weekend coming. I'm more excited for this weekend with Taylor Catteral. But
based on last week's undercard...
Everyone always moans. But at the end of the day, pay-per-view is £20. I'll happily pay £20,
I've seen some of the shows Matchroom put on before where they had the undercard of some good fighters. World titles as undercards, European titles as undercards.
I think Khan and Brook deserved their payday, and for everything they've done in the sport, I didn't mind spending £20 for a pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Obviously, the card wasn't great. Obviously, Eddie Hearn didn't promote it. He's not a Sky Sports. But like I said, it's this weekend for me. I'm way more excited for this.
Yeah. So this weekend, going forward, obviously we've got boxing on Saturday and Sunday.
Yep.
Saturday, we got the Catteral and Taylor fight. Tell me about it, man. What's your thoughts on it?
Obviously, Josh Taylor, we said he's in both our pound-for-pound list. I love Taylor. I think obviously he's one of the best fighters right now. He's in his prime. Catteral, I think he's 26-0.
26-0. 26-0. Yeah.
But he, again, he's trained by Jamie Moore. They've both got brilliant coaches. They've both got some of the best coaches in England. And they both look game. And there's no reason why, if Catteral brings his A game, he can get the win. Obviously, Taylor's a heavy favourite for all the right reasons. But I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. And we're going to see a boxing masterclass. I'm buzzing.
Yeah, 2 great boxers. I mean, 9 months off his historical victory of becoming undisputed champion. Obviously, he's back in and he's in Glasgow, fighting his hometown. Catteral, who you said is 26-0.
Do you think fighting in his hometown is going to have an effect on his performance?
I think it helped raise his performance.
Okay.
I think that just goes against Catteral a little bit more. So all these things that he got going against him, fighting in his hometown, facing the undisputed champion, all these little things stack up, and it's going to take a performance that he would need to be 10 times better than anything that we've seen before to beat someone like Josh Taylor.
Jamie Moore did say that he always steps up to the plate. So, obviously, put him against a better opposition, you're going to see a much better Catteral. So, also, Carl Frampton said that, I told you this off air, it's the best sparring he's ever seen. Just, he's that good. And, of course, anyone can have a good spar. Yep. Can they do it on the night? There's no reason why he can't. If you're fighting for a world title, if you're fighting for all the belts, then you're going to bring your A game, and you've got nothing to lose. Josh Taylor's got everything to lose in his home crowd. I think it's going to be very competitive. Very competitive.
I mean, he's got a chance. He's got puncher's chance. It'd be difficult to outbox him. But if you look at this, not only that, if you look at the CVs as well, Catteral, he's done 26-0, as you said, but he's faced Tyrone McKenna, O'Hara Davies. This sort of level of British level competition, European level competition. You see Josh Taylor, he faced Ramirez, Prograis, yeah. So he's beaten some top world champions. All this comes into play. And then when you look at boxing ability as well, Taylor's taller, 5'10" compared to 5'7", longer reach.
He looks sharp as well. Obviously, Josh Taylor's camp, he's had a lot of good amateurs in. A lot of elite guys. Mike McDonough from Rumbles, I've seen him sparring.
Yes.
Mikey McKinson, obviously, that's fighting Virgil Ortiz. Yeah. I think his sparring, he's had a lot of good, fresh, hungry people coming through. And you could see him on the pads earlier. So sharp, so quick. I do think Josh Taylor will get the win. But I think it's going to be competitive.
That's what you said off air. You said Catteral.
Yeah, well, I said to you, you know what? I'm rooting for Catteral as an underdog.
Yeah,
and
okay.
I would side with him, but I'm gonna have to go with my brain here.
Yeah, I think it'd be a brave man to bet on Catteral. I like Catteral, but after seeing him on the gloves is off, I've seen the
mind games
and stuff that is happening, and Taylor just he seems.
But do you think that really affects Catteral? I think he's.
I don't know if it. We're going to see. We've never seen anything like it before. So again, we have to see how he performs something like this. It reminds me of. I think he's such a big underdog.
But everyone in the boxing world speaks so highly of Catteral. If you speak to anyone that is around these gyms that knows him, everyone speaks so well of him. The only reason I want to pick Josh Taylor is he is pound for pound the most. He's in his prime. And obviously he's been dragged to the trenches. He can outbox you, he can stand there and trade with you, and he'll beat you at all of that. But yeah, again, Jack, he is well known as a very, very elite fight. Like, there's no reason why he couldn't be a world champion in his career. Whether it's this weekend or not, we don't know.
If he stays dedicated, he stays committed, there's no reason why. But going on the flip side, let's just say, what do you think Catteral needs to do to win? What's his advantage to beat someone like Josh Taylor?
Well, I think Taylor's going to be fast. He's going to have to just let Taylor walk onto punches. I think Taylor's probably going to be trying to outbox him the whole time, but it's a tough one. It's a tough ask. How do you beat Josh Taylor? To me, Josh Taylor ticks all the boxes. He can fight on the inside. I'd say he needs a solid jab early. He needs to keep his distance, and he needs to make sure he can win some early rounds, take his time and feel him out, because Josh Taylor can switch it up. He can go from outboxing you one round, in and out, nice and smooth, and then all of a sudden he can just hunt you down and he'll just be a completely different fighter. So,
so his adaptability, he's shown that in his fights. So he shows that he's adaptable. For me, I think what Catteral needs to do is you've seen previously that especially outside the ring and sometimes inside the ring, Josh Taylor can be hot-headed.
Yeah.
So
and he's in Scotland.
And he's in Scotland, so he's even more pumped up. So he can potentially make these mistakes. Catteral, 26 fights, 13 knockouts.
Yeah.
Not a massively high knockout rate, but he's got a puncher's charge potentially. He's quite solid in that front. Outboxing Taylor's quite tough. He's a Commonwealth gold medalist. So he's it'd be difficult, but it can happen again because Taylor's got that hot-headedness where you might just want to rush in and have a fight. Catteral can box, that can be one way as well, but it's got to be difficult. I'm trying to sum it up how I can see Catteral winning.
I do think it'll be competitive.
Taylor, I think competitive in the early rounds.
Yeah, I think you won't really be able to see who's winning. It'll be that close. I think they'll both be landing. They'll both be doing. But I think Josh Taylor in the later rounds is just going to show his class.
Yeah, I agree. I won't be surprised if it goes points. I think Catteral will show heart. I think he's undefeated, so he's got something. He's got that O that he's fighting for as well. A little bit more to fight for. I can see it going to points. I'd like to think. I know people want to see a knockout, but I can see it going points.
But didn't Taylor drop Ramirez in his last fight twice?
He did twice.
Yeah.
Heavy knockdowns as well.
Yeah.
How Ramirez got up was.
Yeah. Heart.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd probably say late stoppage.
Your late stoppage?
Yeah, but then again, I'm not late stoppage. I won't. I can argue with myself all night. We don't know. But yeah, obviously moving on to Sunday.
Well, just on Saturday. We've also got the undercard. Yeah, we've got Ebonie Jones.
Yes.
Pompey's female boxer who
is it a second fight?
Second fight. Who I'm so looking forward to seeing her fight. You've had experience with Ebonie Jones. You were telling me earlier.
Yeah.
I've had experience with Ebonie Jones when she was like, I don't know, about 13, 14 years old.
I remember. So in my first year at uni, I hadn't boxed for like 6 months. Obviously, you're at university, you're out drinking and stuff. And I turned up to Heart of Portsmouth, and there's Ebonie and Whyte and Ahmed, and a real good group of people. We did the mile run around the block.
Yeah.
We did the mile run around there, and then got back. They were like, "Do you want to spar?" Yeah, okay. I got my gum shield. I go in against Ebonie first of all, and I was thinking, right, okay, I'll just try and stick to my jab. I'll take it easy. I come out for a sloppy jab, and boom, my head pings back. She just schooled me for the whole round. She was just
relentless.
Yeah, she really good. Great fighter. Just her balance, and this was maybe like 7 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So she's come a long way, and I love what her style was brilliant. Like she's going to sell a lot of tickets.
I mean, I sparred her as well. I must sparred her a few years before you, and she was a young little girl who just come to our club. And me being one of the seasoned guys over there said, Terry, take it, use a jab, do what you got to do. I was like, all right, jab. But she kept coming. I remember being hit by a body shot. I was like, this is quite tasty. She can definitely punch. And I was like, okay. Yeah, I found her very strong. And just imagine now, 8-9 years later, she's obviously gone tenfold now.
Who's she training with in Guildford?
Edwards. The Guildford boxing coach.
Yeah, John Edwards?
John Edwards,
yeah.
That's it, yeah, pro with John Edwards. So John Edwards got a great stable that he's building over there.
Lots of good sparring there. Laura Payne goes there, right?
Laura Payne goes there, yep. She's another Portsmouth-based fighter that goes over there and trains. She's got a good future. But I think that in Portsmouth, Ebonie Jones for me is a star. And like I said, I'm looking forward to her growth. I think she stays on par. She's surely a future world champion.
Brilliant. And who's the Irish lad boxing on Saturday?
Paddy Donovan.
Paddy Donovan, yeah. I see him early on the pads.
Yeah, he looks sharp. Andy Lee's protege, as they say.
Yeah, I've heard lots of good things about him. I've not seen him fight yet, so I can't have an opinion, but I saw him on the pads earlier.
Southpaw.
Very sharp.
Very sharp, yeah. I've seen one of his fights, one of his earlier fights, obviously against a journeyman, getting out the rounds. Yeah, he seems tasty, he seems good. He's in good company. He's training, obviously, with Tyson Fury. He's around Joseph Parker. He's around Tyson Fury's dad. So he's around all these good characters that are champions, and that will only help him grow.
Imagine the gym atmosphere there.
Yeah,
imagine being around just like Fury in that training. It's just like, that to me, seeing the videos of them having a laugh, putting the work in.
Yeah. That's the way training should be, shouldn't it?
Yeah, of course.
If it comes to monotonous and boring and the same old thing over and over.
But some people like that. Some people like closing. Like, remember Tony Bellew? He wants it to be painful. He'll take himself to a dark place. He won't see anyone, and he'll see it as a Some people like that.
We all go to a dark place in training. We all have to go there. But
I'll
you
never
can do it
know.
in a different way.
Imagine it as a pro though, when you're training for 10 or 12 rounds. Like, obviously as an amateur, like, there's no real dark place. I feel like it's for me that I've ever done. It's fun. You turn up, you have a good time, you learn, you listen, you do what you're told.
Nah, you're at the wrong clubs, mate. You train at the wrong...
But like, even sparring, even if I'm getting beat up, I love it because I'm learning so much. As long as you got a good coach around you and a good team.
Yeah, no. So sometimes, like when it's certainly in the amateurs, you have to do it. You have to go really into the dark places and really, I don't know how to say it, but really show that you've got heart, because they really test you. Especially some of the coaches that I've been, Q Shillingford, Stu O'Connor, they want to see if you've got it. So you have to go through those hard trenches. Obviously, in pros, it's another level, I would think. But in the amateurs, the same thing. You're getting one sparring partner, then next round you're getting another one. Always changing, and you always have to think of new things. And you're tiring at that time as well. Mm-hmm. So, these sort of things that help you grow as a fighter as well. So, yeah.
So, Sunday.
A bit of a tangent there.
Sunday.
Yes, Sunday.
So, Lawrence Okolie against Sislak.
Sislak.
Yeah, so hard Polish guy. We saw one of his knockouts earlier. Looks pretty solid. No one really knows who he is, unless you're a true boxing fan, maybe. Yeah. But yeah, Okolie's one of the only few world champions that are British. We're not got that many anymore. So obviously, I'm gonna be backing Okolie with this.
Yep.
But I would not be writing this Polish guy off. He's coming for the win again. Looks solid.
Yeah, I mean he's 21-1. His loss was against Makabu, who you remember. Lost to Tony Bellew at the Everton football ground, but second round TKO that was. So he's lost in world class company. So it looks like he's good. He can punch, he can box. Lawrence Okolie himself, obviously 17-0, 14 knockouts.
Late starter as well.
Late starter, yeah. He was working at McDonald's, wasn't he? And he saw Anthony Joshua at the 2012 Olympics, and that sort of inspired him to take up boxing. But
he's been learning on the job. He become world champions early in his career.
Yep.
And he had no real amateur pedigree. Yep. He went to Rio for the Olympics. Don't think he got a medal, but turned up to that. And he's really progressed his career quick. And I don't know, I like Okolie. His style, I remember when he boxed Isaac Chamberlain, it was messy. He was leaning on him. It was horrible. If you watched it, it was just terrible. If you paid money to go there to see that, you'd ask for a refund.
Yeah.
It was so bad. But he's starting to shape up nicely. He's under McGuigan.
Yeah.
And he looks powerful. I think Okolie's got just his genetics. He's got such good power. He's got very long arms. So the snap in his shots, you can see it on the pads.
It's that Nigerian power.
Yeah, venom in his punches.
Yeah, man. So he can easily. So he's like 6'5", 6'6", is massive, isn't he?
Yeah, could easily move up.
Yeah, and he's ranked 5th in the world now, still a world champion. It's a tough fight. This guy's ranked 10th. He would have to prove himself. I think Lawrence is going to come through a tough fight. There's going to be a lot of Polish crowd in attendance. You've got 3 Polish fighters fighting the night, so he has to show.
And Poland's starting to get a lot of talent come out in the UFC as well. That they've got some very tough fighters coming out of Poland.
And what will be interesting is obviously this is going to be 12 rounds. And I don't think Lawrence Okolie's gone 12 rounds, and this opponent has never been stopped against Makabu. So he potentially have to box for the whole or fight for the whole 12 rounds.
But he's very good at using his weight. He can lean on people. He knows all the little tricks in the pro game already because he had to win his earlier fights with those tricks.
Yeah.
So I don't think that will be a problem for him. I think if he does get tired, he knows the tricks. But I reckon he knocks him out. Probably.
You reckon knocks him out?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see it going points. Potentially see it going points. Because again, I think this guy's going to be pumped up. He's going to have a lot of people in crowd, a lot in attendance. He's want to prove something to his fans. Lawrence Okolie, you see his attitude, he's quite chilled, quite relaxed. So I can potentially see it going to points.
I just think he's got crazy power.
He's got heavyweight power. He's got heavyweight power.
Yeah. Serious power. And
so-
the undercards, there's huge. Galal Yafai, his debut, 10 rounder.
Yeah, what a guy. What a G. What a G.
So what title is he fighting for?
The flyweight world boxing
international.
WBI world international title. So he's fighting for an international title.
Yeah, so 10 rounds.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind he's going from 3. That's huge. So like you're starting to see fighters do this more often now. Obviously,
But certainly the Olympians.
Yeah.
You're starting to see them have to get progressed a lot quickly, which he's a gold medalist.
But then the pros is so different, it's the transition into the professional game. You see a lot of amateurs come unstuck. Yeah. You've got, who's the Cuban guy I think he's boxing on the Josh Taylor card. Yeah, so Robesy Ramirez against Patrick Donovan.
Patrick Donovan, yeah.
Yeah, so obviously he's a 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah.
And it's only his 8th pro fight, I want to say. But like you were saying, obviously the amateurs to the pros, like I was saying, the transition, like you're seeing a lot of amateurs do come unstuck. So Galal taking this 10 rounder, obviously he already had a loss, so having that transition from the amateurs to the pros, it's tough. There's lots of little tricks in there. Obviously 10 rounds, Galal, if he goes the distance in 10 rounds in the first fight, which is very possible at his weight, you're going to see a very big step up early on.
Yeah, no, Ramirez, I'm looking forward to seeing him fight. I've never seen him fight before. 2-time Olympic champion, right?
Yep. 2012,
2016. So a lot of amateur pedigree. Obviously, it looks like he's got that one loss. Maybe they rushed him too quickly to get him through. Try and get a world title maybe quite soon. Is obviously needs a step back.
It reminds me of like Lomachenko. Every time I see a loss.
Yeah, I know you said that. Yeah.
Every time I see a loss on a really good amateur's record, like it doesn't really matter when they're in the pros because you see what they're doing early on. They're taking the risks.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that. You've got so many guys that are world champions that take no risks their whole career. So for Galal to step up in his first ever fight, there's no going back. As soon as he gets this title, that's it. If he wins this first fight, he's fighting 10 rounders for the rest of his career, 10, 12 rounders.
12 rounders, yeah. I think it'd be a step up again. I think, Gill, you fight, they come from a fighting family. I love their family, all 3 of them. Great fighters.
They want to get on a card, all 3 of them.
That'd be amazing, wouldn't it? That'd be amazing. All 3 of them, if they can all fight for a title and stuff, it'd be brilliant. It reminds me of like the Smith brothers. There's 4, right? Is it?
I thought there was 3, but...
Callum, Paul...
And Liam.
No, there is 4. Liam, and there's the Stephen.
Oh, okay.
So there's all 4 of them. That's the 4 brothers, and all 3 of them on the card. That'd be brilliant. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Gal Yafai's rise. I think he's a champion in the making.
I remember messaging him at the Olympics in 2012. I think it was.
No way.
I remember because I was a fanboy. Like he was my favourite fighter. Just like his boxing style.
Is that the older one?
No, Galal.
Galal,
the young one.
Okay.
Yeah, so the one that's just gone pro. So you got Galal, and Cal Yafai.
Cal Yafai.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Galal is the one on his debut, and he's sick. Yeah. He is sick. But yeah, what's your predictions then?
For Gal Yafai?
Yeah, and Okolie.
So for me, Okolie, you've got I think Okolie points. I said that. Yeah, Okolie points. I think he has to show. He has to show that he can box in this fight for the 12 rounds. To show that he can keep the distance, which he's shown in his fights. He just has to go a little bit longer. We'll see how we get on against a fighter who's tough, who's strong.
What does he need to do to beat this Polish guy?
Box. He needs to. I would start off just boxing because, as you said, he's unknown. He's gonna be fired up. He's gonna have his crowd there. He just needs to box first couple of rounds and slowly work him down. And if he sees the knockout, then he needs to obviously go for it. But I think that's the best strategy for him. Use his long arms, awkward style that he's got as well. Use it all into play. I can only see Okolie winning this fight.
And Galal, do you reckon he can do it on his?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Galal. Like I said, I love their fighting family. They're over in Birmingham, so they used to train just near the Sainsbury's. I remember going to their gym, little gym they've got over there. But yeah, just having to drive past, and someone said that's where they train. I was like, perfect. It's amazing. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them fight. Not only that, the one I'm looking forward to is Chevron Clark.
Yeah.
From Kent.
Yeah.
From your ends.
Yeah. What a beast.
What a beast. I've known Chevron for quite a while in the amateurs, and he's been knocking out loads of people.
Very heavy-handed.
Very heavy-handed. I remember going for a run, and we only known each other briefly then, and he was running this way, and I was running there, and we were just like, all right. And I was like, oh, that's actually him. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to his rise. I think he looks very dominant in his weight category.
And Anthony Fowler, he's got a tough opponent.
Oh yeah, and Anthony Fowler's return. Yeah, after the Liam Smith loss, he's got another Polish boxer that he's fighting.
Yeah.
So he would have to come in and, you know, put on a performance as well. He needs to put on a performance and show that he's still worthy for the big fights.
I like how he's been under the McGuigans. I like.
He's been quiet. Any other normally he's quite loud and he's quite out there with social. Yeah, it shows that he's out working. It shows that he must be just that working hard, which is good.
I really rate Fowler. I think obviously when he first boxed, what's his name, the madman. Scott Fitzgerald, yeah. I was, obviously it was a 50-50 fight going into most people. I really wanted Fitzgerald to win that, but now I really want to see Fowler do good. I think I've seen him just chipping away, working hard. He's come off Instagram. He's doing all the right things to just progress. And he's had such a tough career already, you know. He's asked for the big fights early. He's come short, but they're big learning curves. And obviously he's lost to two very, very good guys. And there's no reason why he can't go all the way.
You say go all the way. I like Anthony Fowler. Sorry, I think he's good. You know, his style's very. He's with McGuigan, so hopefully he adds a bit more movement in his style. But you can see his style has changed from Dave Caldwell.
But he used to look quite stiff.
Very stiff, really, and he still looks very stiff. He still looks quite stiff. I think he's got a little bit more.
I think he flows better now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think it can still be a lot better. But everyone sort of says that he still can do it. But he's 31.
That's fine.
Yeah, he trains hard. But he's still at British level, British European sort of level.
The good thing being at British level is as soon as he gets that under his belt, he's probably 2 or 3 fights away from a world title if he wins them. But yeah, I think he's come a long way. He's been learning in the dark. You know, no one really knows what he's been doing. Yeah. He's been chipping away, and yeah, he could definitely get a European title for sure. He can bang. He can bang, and there's no one out there that can definitely take a clean punch off Fowler. He could knock out most guys. Yeah,
his weight, obviously he's moving up in weight as well.
Yeah,
he must have struggled so hard to make light middle. He was huge. He used to be a big middleweight as well, and then he dropped down to 154, and now he's obviously gone up to 160, which I think will help him
big time.
Yeah, I think that'll help him big time. So I think the weight be a big advantage for him. Obviously, when you go up, we've seen him dropped in lower weights, but you go against Fitzgerald.
But also he was tired too.
And against Liam Smith, he was dropped as well.
He was fatigued. Against Fitzgerald, he was tired. You know, it was a good punch.
Yeah, I mean, but so was a Fitzgerald, but he got through it.
Yeah, true. I'm making excuses for
him. No, I'm not. You know, I like Fowler. I think he's a good fighter, but I think when he moves up, he's obviously facing people that are bigger, stronger. He would have to show a lot more resistance than what he showed at low weights. But again, cutting that weight, what he probably would have cut. And then fighting is quite tough, as we all know.
And like we said with the nutritionists that come on, you know, if you fight a weight that's good for you, you're going to be a lot stronger and a lot better. And I think that's going to be right with Fowler. There's no reason why he's not going to have way more strength being at his own weight now. You know, him depriving himself through his career.
As you get older as well.
Yeah.
He did say it gets tougher than a nutritionist. So yeah, I'm looking forward to Anthony Fowler's return.
And who else is fighting on the card?
John Hedges against another Polish fighter, looking to make it 5-0. We both like John Hedges' style, didn't he? Very light heavyweight, very classy style.
Is it fair to say knockout win?
Yeah, I would like to think this early in his career, you know, but it could be still learning as well how to set up his punches, how to punch. But what I've seen from him at the moment, he looks strong, and he should potentially get a knockout in this fight.
Brilliant. And then we spoke a little bit about heavyweights last week, but Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte is finally signed for April.
Sorry, just to go one stage back.
Yep.
We also got we got Campbell Hatton on the card as well.
Oh, of course, yeah. I don't want to speak bad of Campbell. Like, obviously, he was chucked in the deep end with Matchroom going pro.
Yeah.
He's had some bad performances. He's had the world stage looking at him. He's got a big name to follow in his dad. But even his amateur career, like he was good, but he didn't win lots of titles in the amateurs.
I don't think he. I think he won a novice title.
I think he might have. I saw him lose in the Midlands title or something back in the day. That was a good fight actually. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Is it
really an amateur fight? Yeah, because Campbell was a good amateur, and he boxed some good guys. But anyway, back to his professional career. It's just he's had the whole world watching him, and he's had to learn fast. And he's got his uncle and his dad sort of helping him. Yeah. I hope to see a good performance. I hope he doesn't rush anything. He takes his time. He doesn't try and put them out there. I hope we just see some good boxing from him. And there's no reason why he can't. He's getting used to the world stage now. He's had to adjust. But it's been quite a disappointing start for him, and it's going to give even more of a drive. It's like Conor Benn. Yeah. Conor Benn, early in his career, he had some questionable fights. Yeah. He didn't look too good, and then you just saw him just suddenly just season into his prime. Yeah. True. I think Campbell, he'll do the business, and I hope he has a good career.
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the performance. I think he's received some criticism in the past for his performances. He's been quite lucky, maybe one or two of his fights to receive the decision, but he's still learning. He's still learning. As you said, Conor Benn's a great example because he's got the family name, that family heritage in boxing.
Exactly the same situation, really.
And it was quite similar how they came through. I think Hatton, if he stays in the gym, keeps progressing, keeps training, he can do similar levels that Conor Benn has.
It must be so tough for them because they're already in the limelight as soon as they go pro.
Do you know what? Sorry to interrupt. I don't think that's tough. I think that's an advantage for them. If you imagine some of these boxers that we saw on some of the shows that we've been, they have to sell tickets.
Yeah, but even though it's an advantage for them, if they're like you see in a lot of these guys, let's say someone that's 10-0 that's managed to make their way up through the small shows and everything, they haven't got that pressure on their shoulders. If it's your debut and you're boxing on the undercard of like I don't know Anthony Joshua or something, like that's tough. You got the whole world watching you, and everyone's expecting you to be as good as your dad when it's your debut.
Yeah, I mean. It's two swings and roundabouts.
Yeah,
I mean,
it makes or breaks you, right?
Yeah, I mean, people coming up will say, coming through the hard way will say these people have had it good. They're making whatever money they're making. They're fighting on big shows. They've got training, nutrition, and stuff. Whereas people on small house shows, they've got a full-time job and they're working their way around it. So, your way's right as well because people on that they've got more pressure. But hey, they've got the money to give them the support to give them that.
Very true.
So I know which way I'd rather be. I'd rather be on that side of the fence than the other side.
But also, what if he hasn't actually got it? Let's be serious. What if he's actually just not cut for the pro game? Because that could definitely happen. That happens
in boxers. Not everyone's got the potential that the dad has.
Josh Kelly, he was one of my favourite fighters to watch, and he's come short a fair few times. Yeah. Of course they're good names, but you see him fighting the amateurs. Unbelievable, and you see him in the start of the pros, he was really good. Yeah, he had a really good start. He was like, do you remember that video when he lands like 8 hooks?
8 hooks, mate.
Who was that with?
I don't know. That was some journeyman,
But obviously, as soon as he stepped up, he's really struggled, and he's had a lot of problems behind the scenes, but. Yeah, it's tough. It makes or breaks you.
Yeah, Josh Kelly, 2 performances stand up for me where he struggled. The one in New York when he fought on the Anthony Joshua undercard.
Evanescent?
No, that was the one in lockdown where he fought in the UK in the match. They were the 2 shows that really showed that okay, maybe he's not ready yet. But they kept pushing him a little bit too far because of his talent. Deserved it. The talent that he must have been showing in the gym, and that he's been showing. Showed that he's ready for these challenges. Obviously, he wasn't ready for those challenges being stepped up. I think he's still a talent.
Oh, yeah.
He's still a talent. I think maybe we have to take one step back and maybe move him up in weight.
And also, I think he had a kid. He's probably had whatever going on in his personal life.
Yeah, everyone does. I think people just expect you to turn up and have fights.
Yeah.
But we've got a life outside of that as well that we have to take care of.
And I think as well, he might have been one of the fighters that got COVID. And I think he struggled with COVID quite badly. His recovery, I think that's been tough for Josh Kelly. I could be wrong, but if that's the case as well, imagine not breathing right after that.
Yeah, fair. But just going back to, I think Campbell Hatton.
Yeah.
So I think Campbell Hatton, I think he's got a great career ahead of him. I think a lot of people will be happy to be in his position that he's in.
I think different. I don't know. I think great guy. You know, all the best to him. But does he have it? You know, he's already shown problems early on against journeyman that he should have put out there very easily. The pressure of course. Hopefully he's going to do good and he puts on a show. But you know, it's just like Conor Ben when he didn't look good. Everyone wrote him off then. There's no reason why Campbell Hatton might flop.
Yeah, still early.
Yeah.
So when he steps up, he has to show the grit and the dedication.
But he's having to show the grit and dedication in 4-round fights against people.
So did Conor Ben.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And Conor Ben's come out on top, and now he's knocking on the door for a world title at some point. Yeah. But yeah, not everyone's going to do that. So
we'll see. I mean, it's going to be intriguing to see how he gets on in his career. Other fights on the card as well.
Yep.
Your man Fabio Wardley.
Oh yeah, I like Wardley. Yeah.
So he's got Daniel Metz from the USA.
Oh, okay.
So that'd be an interesting fight. I think Daniel Metz, he's been quite inactive actually for over the last 2. He hasn't fought since 2020.
I've been following a lot of Wardley strength conditioning stuff.
Yeah, does he train with the over in Sheffield?
Danny Wilson, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if he's. I've not seen much for this camp, to be honest with you, but what a guy, mate! Explosive. His training, he is the man. But
his background story is interesting as well. He don't have like an amateur background. He come from the white collar background. And
I don't know anything about that.
Yeah, he did have amateur fights. I don't think he had many amateur fights. He went straight to white collar, and then obviously Dillian Whyte found him, discovered him. He used to work in a gym, and bring him in for sparring. And he said, "You got talent," and now he's 13-0. So shows you anyone can do it, right? He's obviously got talent, and he's shown that. And his rise has been great. I think he's someone to be watching out for in the heavyweight division.
And again, he's learning on the job as well. Yeah. Everyone is.
Yeah, because he's the amateur background. He's not had that.
Yeah.
So he's having to learn on the job. So he's getting these fights, and he's still young. I think he's 23, 24.
25, I think.
Is he 25? Yeah. He's quite young for a heavyweight as well. So he's got these 10 years.
Yeah, but also the heavyweight division's so stacked anyway. Even though people think there's only a couple, you're only really talking about AJ, Whyte, Fury, Wilder. But beyond that, you've got such good fighters like Daniel Dubois. He's still knocking on the door. He's still young. Joe Joyce.
He's like 35, I think.
So we're looking obviously soon at hopefully Whyte v Fury, AJ versus Usyk, the winner of that, and then after that, really you're looking at possibly Joe Joyce getting his shot,
which he deserves it. But no, Fabio Wardley.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing him fight as well and seeing how he progresses.
He's got a long way to go. Yeah,
he's got a long way. 25. I think they'll take him slowly.
Yeah,
they'll get a good mass and he'll fight for. Hopefully, go for the British, Commonwealth, European, that sort of route.
Yeah, definitely.
And then ready for a world title. But they've got plenty of years to play with him as well. Same as Dubois, as you said. And just lastly, the co-main event. Jordan Gill fighting for the European title.
Yeah.
Big fan of Jordan Gill.
Yeah.
Featherweight, I think he trains with your man Wilson.
Yeah. He's got the skills. He's been with Wilson for years. Jordan Gill. He's one of the most talented people out there for boxers.
Yeah. I agree. So he's fighting for the European title. Talent-wise, amazing. He's obviously last fight was a draw. He come off a cut. Do you remember the cut that
The
cut was quite bad, so he had a cut. On his head, so he's coming from that return. He's fighting for a European title now, which is good. His career's back on track. But I feel like Jordan Gill's been on the scene for quite a while, and he's still fighting at that same level. European, I would like to see him progress. This is his opportunity to progress now. Yeah. Hopefully, he had that one. Do you remember that loss that he had against the Mexican? And he had problems with his stomach the day before. He had diarrhea.
Yeah.
And then he should have pulled out, but he didn't tell his coach and stuff. So that resulted in him losing. Well, apparently. But I just want to see. As you said, you see the talent.
Yeah.
You just want to see him progress now.
Well, I think tomorrow he's going to Sunday he's going to put on a masterclass.
Yeah.
Probably be fight of the night as well, Jordan Gill. I think he's got the talent. He's probably the most talented boxer on that card.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And I think obviously get the European title and then he's on to a world title. So, he's 2 fights away from getting what he's been working his whole life towards.
Yeah. Is it 26 fights he's had now?
Well, you've written it down, haven't you?
Yeah, 26.
Yeah.
26, yeah. 26 other fights. So he's
ready.
He's ready. He
Yeah.
should be ready for that sort of fight. So I'm looking forward to it. What I'd like to see at that weight is who's Tyson Fury's cousin? Isaac Lowe.
Is that Fury's cousin?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't
the one
know
little one who Tyson Fury takes him on camps and stuff like that.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be a good fight, featherweight.
Who's he fighting?
Well, he
I don't
recently
know much
lost the
about
fight.
him.
Yeah, he recently lost the fight, but they can still probably meet. I'm sure it's all about money. They can potentially meet. That'd be a good fight, and that would sell quite well. So that's potentially a fight that can have in the future as a British clash.
Yeah.
But no, Jordan Gill, I'm looking forward to watching him perform. Hopefully he gets a victory on the weekend and he can fill his talent. Dave Caldwell's always spoken highly of him and how dedicated he is in the gym.
And we're all about to witness one of the pound for pound top 5. That's Josh Taylor, of course. He's literally going to be, if he gets this win now, he's going to be a superstar. He's knocking on the door now. He's not been promoted too well.
Yeah. And
I think to get this win in Britain, to get his name out there, obviously during COVID it's been tough. But I think Josh Taylor's about to become a superstar. So it'll be nice to witness him in his prime and seeing what he's doing with Ben Davison. It's nice to see Saturday night.
So that'll be Saturday, yeah. So
yeah.
That'll be that. Yeah, so that'll be Saturday night. That's the card on Sky Sports. And you got on the Sunday, obviously what we've been talking about is on the Daz's on Zone on the Sunday. So a lot of boxing on this weekend. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday boxing on.
Should be like it every weekend.
Yeah, mate. I think the way boxing's going, which is brilliant. Hopefully it continues doing that. It'll be boxing on the Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, it's good when you're in Australia because all of the boxing on a Sunday, you wake up Sunday morning, you have all the English fights, and then on Sunday afternoon you have all the American fights in UFC.
Oh, yes.
So like Sunday is just a day of fights. It's so good.
Yeah.
We cop it bad here. You know, America 3 a.m, 4 a.m. It's rough.
In Australia you got it good.
Yeah.
Well, you did have it good.
I did, yeah, not anymore.
So, I mean, that's the weekend action. You did say before about the heavyweights.
Yes. Well, Dillian Whyte.
He was going to do it anyway when he was going to sign the contract.
He was going to do. He's been very quiet. The ball's in his court. He's been playing a lot of mind games with Fury.
I don't think it's mind games.
I think it is.
I just think he wanted more money. I think with him it's all about money, and people have just twisted it and saying he's playing mind games, like twist the game on Tyson Fury. No, with him it's always been he wants money to attend a press conference.
Yeah, but also just go into the actual fight of Fury Whyte. Styles make fights, and I seriously think Whyte could actually cause him a problem. I've been saying, leading up to this, I've been telling you outside the podcast, obviously Fury should beat him easy, just because of the size of him. He's very
6'9",
awkward.
yeah.
But I just feel like Whyte, that left hook of his, that'll put anyone to sleep. And I sort of want to see the underdog win.
You like to see the underdog win. You've said that a few times today.
How mad would it be if Dillian Whyte gets the win and becomes world champion? Because when you think about it, Eddie Hearn's never really promoted him. Eddie Hearn was his promoter, and it's all about Anthony Joshua.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to say he hasn't promoted. He put him on Sky box office cards.
He's been mandatory for over 2 years, and Eddie Hearn's not giving him any of the shots that he should have got.
Who could he have fought? He had the chance to fight he had the chance to fight Anthony Joshua.
Yeah,
but then Andy Ruiz fought him.
But then he gets done in the because he gets done in the contracts.
But then he's a challenger.
Yeah, but if you're fighting for a world title and you're only getting maybe 10-15% purse. Oh no, so I think they offered him 30, but he would only get like 10% of it. Why would you fight for a world title? That's such a big risk for peanuts. He's been done dirty on contracts, and it's. But
it's I totally understand what you mean. But obviously, if you think about that side of it, it's not good. But if you think about the flip side, now you see Andy Ruiz. If Dillian Whyte took that fight, for example, say he would have got 10% of whatever purse. Now he would have beat Anthony Joshua, say for example, then he would have been the 90%, then the 10%. Or the 80-20 or the 60-40, whatever. But he would have been the top dog, and he would have been in control. Sometimes you're going to take that risk to get a reward in the long run if you believe in yourself.
I get that, but I also think he knows his worth, and if he's fighting for a world title, and he's getting offered not that much, it's just not fair. It's a business at the end of the day, and Dillian Whyte deserves his shot and a correct payday. He's been mandatory for so long. They even had the drug scandal with him, where everyone wrote him off saying he was a drug cheat just because of a fake or some false drug test. They had his second sample to come through. It was fully clean.
After quite a while, that was.
Yeah, and like he's suffered a lot behind the scenes. Eddie Hearn's not supported him like he supported AJ at all.
Yeah, but I mean, he said it out in front. AJ's his boy, isn't it? AJ's the one. AJ's a champion.
But if you're a promoter and someone's been mandatory for 2 years, you should give them what they deserve, a good payday, and what they want.
But if you see it, so just for example, so you had Anthony Joshua tied up with his fight. So we say he had the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua, he didn't fight him. Yeah, that's correct. Deontay Wilder said numerous times, "I'm not going to fight Dillian Whyte." He did say that, didn't he? Numerous times. He gave Tyson Fury the shot before him.
But that's because he thought Fury wouldn't be able to beat him.
That's what Fury thought he would have beat him. So how could, fair play to it, how could he give him a shot?
At the end of the day, if you're a mandatory for a belt, it should not take you, how many days was it?
I think it's like 1,000 days or whatever.
It should not take you. It should not take you 1,000 days to get that shot. It should be a bit more easy.
No, but that's not Eddie Hearn. That's the boards. That's the WBC who were in charge. Who should have said, "This guy deserves a shot now. He's waited 1,000 days."
But also, when you are picking mandatories, you could very much easily say it was Whyte's shot instead of Usyk's.
Again, that's the governing bodies.
Yeah,
you need to decide that.
But also, they can have their influence as well. I don't know. I just think it's a good time for Whyte.
I think, looking forward, I'm glad he's accepted the contract. He's obviously getting a lot of money. He's getting $8 million plus. There's an upside to that as well if he wins the fight of a couple of million. So it's all to play for. I mean, if he beats him, he's the boss. He's the man in charge, which is the way he should look at it.
Yep.
So, it's all to play for.
Anything happens with the heavyweights.
Anything could happen. I think it's going to be a good test for Tyson Fury because all we've seen him fight since his return, really, we saw him have those couple of warm-up fights.
Yeah, he didn't look great in some of them.
He didn't look good. And then he faced Deontay Wilder, and let's face it.
And Wilder's not a good boxer. He's not.
Okay, so
he's got a freakish right hand, but you see Fury take that away from him.
And he took him, exactly.
And that was it. But like Dillian Whyte, he can fight on the inside. He's rough. He's rugged. Yeah. He's going to come forward. He can happily take a punch. He's got a chin. Yeah. Fair enough. He obviously got stopped by AJ, but Anthony Joshua's freakish power.
And this was when they were both quite raw.
Yeah.
They're different animals now, all of them.
And people always forget, Dillian Whyte rocked AJ in their fight.
Second round.
Yeah, he rocked AJ, and there's no reason why, if he does that to Fury, it's lights out. I
mean, I'm very much looking forward to I think Tyson Fury, as I said, I think the only opponents that he's fought is Deontay Wilder over the last couple of years. Obviously that trilogy, which was amazing. But Deontay Wilder, who he's fought some good fighters before, even though he knocked everyone out. Who did he actually fought that was at that level? Mm-hmm.
And then you obviously look at Dillian Whyte's sort of last couple of years when he got knocked out bad by Povetkin. I think his biggest problem is he's quite sloppy with his jab. He leaves his hand out there. He's quite sloppy with some of his work, which someone like Fury would easily pick apart. So
he's got a good jab. I think it's that sometimes he can be sloppy with it, but he's got a good jab, I would say. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. Really looking forward to the build-up. I hope Dillian Whyte doesn't gives us a good sort of build-up to it. Because at the moment he's quite quiet. Hopefully he's a bit more vocal in the build-up of it.
I think you're going to see their personalities come out.
Yeah, mate. Can you imagine those
Fury's
two?
going to bring out the best in him.
Yeah, can you imagine those two? They'll be if Fury does.
Well, he also needs a license to box in England still.
Who, Fury?
Yeah, they've got a few things going on that they still haven't sorted. Something to do with the tax as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if Fury does get that sort of side out of Dillian Whyte, then it just shows you already that's Tyson Fury one up. Because he's able to control Dillian Whyte's emotions.
But then also maybe Whyte's been quiet because he's not letting that happen. Who knows?
Yeah.
He's had some good camps. Dillian Whyte, when he was training in Portugal for the first Povetkin fight, he had the camp of a lifetime. He's had good strength conditioning. He's conditioned over the years, ready for a world title. I think he's Dillian Whyte's in his prime now.
Yeah.
You will see the best Dillian Whyte.
33, 34, I believe he is. So he should be in his prime. Tyson Fury is still 33. Both similar age. Both have come on a lot over the last couple of years. That's what they play for, man. But I think, I like both fighters, but I think Tyson Fury, obviously it's still early days, but based on records, based on who have each other fought, you have to go with Tyson Fury.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening to our podcast. And yeah, look forward to the next one. Thank
Cheers,
you.
guys.
Cheers.